Namaste, friends, and welcome back to the show. This week, I have Wendy Valentine on the show with me. She is the author of Women Waking Up, the Midlife Manifesto for Passion, Purpose, and Play. She is a podcast host and a keynote speaker, and just an all around beautiful human. Her energy is fantastic. We had so much fun on this episode. We are really kindred souls. And the thing that I think that I love about Wendy the most is that, as you'll hear in this episode, life has handed her some really, really challenging circumstances. And despite that, she maintains this beautifully playful, loving, adventurous, and courageous attitude towards life. And she has taken all of the pain that life has served to her and she has used it as fuel to create the life that she has now and the way that she inspires other people. So I really think no matter where you are on your journey of midlife, you are going to get something out of Wendy's story and her energy and the inspiration that she serves up to us. Now, before we dive into that, I want to invite you over to Substack. So I recently really pulled back from Instagram. If you're following me there, you'll still see me there here and there. You'll see some things that I post, but I'm primarily on Substack because Substack is where we really get to talk. That's where I share the deeper, quieter side of my work through my weekly newsletter, which can be delivered directly to your inbox. I have reflections there, supportive practices, and real conversations about midlife, healing, purpose, and coming back to yourself. So if you've been wanting more depth, wanting more honesty, a little less noise, come join me on Substack or just sign up for the newsletter to be delivered directly to your inbox. I'd love to have you both on my email list to receive my newsletter and in my community over on Substack. Come off the scroll and join me there. It's a beautiful place to be for deeper conversations. The link to sign up is in the show notes. All right, I'll see you on the other side. All right, Wendy, welcome to the Midlife Purpose Project. I am so excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And we were talking about this earlier. We don't know, but we saw each other probably 2, 3 weeks ago because you were on my podcast.
Yes, which was super fun, which is also why I'm super excited about this conversation because we just get to
Yeah.
hang out again together and laugh
Yeah.
and hopefully make the audience laugh and learn something along the way.
We
Yeah.
can do that. I mean, we just laugh at ourselves, really.
We
You
do.
know,
We do.
that's
I
the
find myself
beauty.
hysterical. Yeah.
That's the beauty of midlife when you can like really start laughing at yourself. Like,
Yes. Actually, my motto is it's laugh or cry. So most of the time I laugh, there's some crying in there. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
I know, I know. Do you know though, when I was thinking about this the other day, when I was, well, like elementary school, middle school, kids used to make fun of my laugh. And so I actually stopped. I would try to,
Oh
I mean,
no.
and it's kind of hard to laugh with your mouth closed, you know, you'd be like,
Yeah.
and now I don't care. I'm like, I'm gonna laugh so loud that you guys are gonna be so annoyed with me, you know?
Oh my God, I love
When
that.
you
I'm
get to that
sorry that
point in
happened
life
to
where I
you.
know, right? I
Oh,
was like,
that's
you're like, oh my
terrible.
God, your laugh is so annoying. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, it's so loud. But I do it.
Little
I know.
Wendy.
I laugh
Yes,
now.
good. You laugh as hard and as much as you can snort laugh here, okay? And I'm gonna love it.
I'm gonna do it. I want to do it. I know.
Oh
We're
my
gonna
God. I
have a
might
good
too,
time.
because it just happens sometimes. All right. So we're going to talk about what you do, but you have a book out called The Midlife Manifesto for Passion. I'm sorry, Women Waking Up, The Midlife Manifesto for Passion, Purpose, and Play. And I saw the title of that book and I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I have to have this woman on my podcast. So let's talk about kind of what led you to write that book and then maybe get into some detail about what goes on inside
Yeah.
those
There's
covers.
always a backstory, isn't
Of
there?
course, yes. And I know yours is an interesting one. So let's let my audience
So
hear it.
yeah, so this book, what inspired me to write this book is because I did not want another woman out there to feel lost, stuck, invisible, quietly dissatisfied, because I have definitely been that woman.
Hmm.
And I want to say, too, before I go into that backstory, when I came up with the title, Women Waking Up, it, I was thinking more of like, you know what? It's not even so much the whole traditional of midlife crisis. We're in a midlife crisis. I was
Yeah.
thinking we're more in like a midlife coma, right? It's like we
Yes.
have got to wake up, like wake up to our
Yes.
greatest selves, wake up to our true authentic selves. So
Yeah.
that is kind of how the title came to be. But really, when I wrote the book, I was thinking of Wendy, well, let's see, it'd be 7+ years ago, about the age of 45. I
Yeah.
had a total midlife meltdown. It was my second divorce, empty nest. I was unemployed, $150,000 in debt. Ouch. Black mold
Oof.
toxicity, the list goes
Oh.
on.
Oh.
Chronic Lyme disease. And just for fun, we're going to toss in a little menopause.
Okay. Let's just sprinkle it in.
Just to add to it, just because I wanted to have hot flashes and night sweats as I was
Yes.
going through all of this in my life.
Right.
And then within 6 weeks, my dog died, my
Oh
cat
my
died, and then
God.
my brother died.
Oh,
So
Wendy. Mm.
I don't know if we can cuss on this podcast,
We
but it
can
was okay,
100%.
good.
Yes.
It was a total, it was a total shit show. So, yeah, needless to say, I ended up going into a major depression. I watched every single one of them pass away, take their last breath. So I started
Mm.
having panic attacks for the first time in my life and anxiety. And so, yes, I was in the lowest point of my life. And I had this wild, crazy epiphany. And I'm sure, I think you and I talked about this on my show too, about like these kind of like out of the blue visions that you'll get. And you're like, whoa, that's interesting. Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Mine was a vision of me driving an RV across the country. Was like, I don't know, like, where'd that come from?
Yes.
But I thought, and I started thinking about it. I was like, wow, what would that be like to actually
Yeah.
just take off in an RV across the country, maybe become a writer someday, start a
Yeah.
podcast, like,
Yeah.
but it wasn't so much that I was excited about the RV or driving off into the Sedona sunset. It was about the woman in the driver's seat, and not
Mm-hmm.
just of the RV, but of her life. A woman that
Mm-hmm.
was happy and healthy and financially free, and a woman that finally followed her dream of becoming an
Yeah.
author and an inspirational speaker. So I started to kind of try this dream on for size, if you will, in my mind and in my heart.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the critic in my mind quickly shot this whole dream down.
Yeah.
And I can remember hearing the voice inside my head go, what makes you think that you can actually make this dream come true? Like
Yeah.
you're broke, you're sick, you have no job, you let your whole life fall apart. And I can remember just feeling, just it was me myself actually making
Yeah.
myself feel that bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I had a second epiphany. It was a quote from Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the
Mm.
difference.
Mm.
And I realized here I was at rock bottom, and I was at a crossroads. One road was familiar misery, the other
Yeah.
road was scary freedom.
Yes.
One road was like, all right, staying in this same familiar road was actually kind of safe for me,
Mm-hmm.
but it was also slowly killing me.
Yeah.
And then chasing a dream felt really risky, but it also gave me hope.
Yeah.
And then I realized this was the thing. I was like, I realized no matter which road that I decided to take, it would require a ton of effort,
Mm-hmm.
either one. So I thought, well,
Yeah.
shoot, if I'm gonna have to work hard, I might as well work. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I'm not like, wait a second. And if anything,
Yeah.
chasing the dream was probably less work in a way.
Yeah.
At least it was
Mm-hmm.
like it gave me hope. It was exciting for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I thought, well, if I'm going to work hard, I might as well work towards a better life for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I did. So I
Yeah.
chose that road less traveled by, the road that led to this woman right here
Yeah.
with you today.
Yeah.
And from that moment of that breakdown moment that I had, and then my breakthrough, it's crazy to think that once you make that decision to move forward in your life, and I would say more importantly, to give yourself permission to
Hmm.
change and to evolve and to love yourself, the stars just start to align.
Yeah.
It's like the red carpet just rolls out, and you're like, oh, okay, I go here next. I go here next. Got it, got it, got it.
Yeah.
And within 4 weeks, I ended up getting a job offer in Chicago. So I moved from Virginia to Illinois within four
Mhm.
weeks, took this job and started, chipping away at the amount of debt that I had
Yeah.
and to start saving up for the RV. And then I seeked therapy. I did
Hmm.
EMDR. I did all sorts of different types of therapy. I read books. I did meditation, journaling, you name it.
Hmm.
Was
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
I was
Every spiritual and therapeutic tool.
everything. I was
Yes.
like, I'm going all out.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing, and I know you know this term, drishti.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
when you're doing a yoga pose, like tree pose, you focus on a dot on the wall and you keep focusing on that. And my drishti was that woman in the driver's seat,
Yeah.
that happy, healthy, financially free woman in the driver's seat. That was my drishti. And
Yeah.
all I kept thinking about, that's what I'm going to get. And again, everything else was just kind of falling into place. I have goosebumps sometimes when I think about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it is wild. I'm
I've
like,
had like full
oh
body
God.
chills several times during
Yeah, it's so
yeah,
wild.
story. Mhm.
So yeah, within 2 years, paid off all the debt. I
Wow.
regained my health. And even in doing that, built up that courage. I became that woman in the driver's seat even before I even took off in the RV, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and then I ended up, I flew from Chicago to Nashville, Tennessee on a Friday, bought the RV on a Saturday, drove it back to Chicago on Monday, quit my comfy corporate job on Monday,
Oh my
and then I took off on Route 66 on a Tuesday. So,
Wow.
yeah, I
And
mean,
how old were you at that point?
let's see, I would have been 49.
49.
I'm
Okay.
53 now. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was,
Wow.
but when I look back at that, the amount of work I had to put through, that I went through for all of that, oh my God, so worth it.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
it's like I think we're all at a crossroads all the time, really. You can stay on that same familiar road with the same thoughts, the same beliefs, the same you of yesterday,
Hmm.
or you choose a new road with the new thoughts, new beliefs, the dream you of tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when you take back control, and I don't mean that in like a controlling way, when you take agency
Hmm.
of your soul, of your life, and you go, you know what? I actually have control over my thoughts, over my beliefs, and the
Yeah.
direction that I take in my life, the dreams I
Hmm.
want to create, the relationships I want to create, everything.
Hmm.
Then, oh my gosh, your whole life changes once you grasp that
Yeah.
and just go for it. Oh my gosh.
I mean, what you're like of that whole story, so many things I want to pull out, but one
Mhm.
of the big things is you made a decision. And I think we
Yeah.
really
Mhm.
undervalue we don't talk about this enough that so
Mhm.
much of this comes down to a decision. It's not your life
Yes.
circumstances. It's not
Mhm.
what happened when you were a child. It's
Yes.
not,
Yep.
what the economy is doing. It is a choice. And that choice it can feel like we don't have a choice. Sometimes it feels
Yes.
like, oh, I don't have a choice because I have responsibilities and I have children and
Hmm.
I have whatever, but it really truly is a choice. And
Yep.
you decide it. I mean, you use those words, I decided. And then
Yeah.
you did the work that you needed to
Hmm.
do to make that vision become a reality. But it first began with the decision that you were going to make that a reality for
You're
yourself.
exactly right. And inaction is a decision too, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
for the longest time I had paralysis by analysis, right? And
Hmm.
where I ended up, and I'm a recovering perfectionist, people pleaser, approval seeker, codependent, you name it. I
Hmm.
rocked all those labels. And did. I was so good. I was like a perfectionist of a perfectionist. So, and I did all of those. I had all those labels. I performed all of those duties in my life in order to not be abandoned, to make sure that I kept everything in place and everything in control, and that I was so afraid of making the wrong move that, oh God, if I go this direction, what if I lose this relationship or I lose this job, or oh no, like everything. I mean, just
Yeah.
completely paralyzed by
Hmm.
actually taking a step forward. But then when you realize you can't take a wrong step, you can
Yeah.
always pivot.
Yeah.
I had a moment, even right before, like here it was, I worked so hard to get to that point where I could take off in the RV. I was like, I'm gonna do it. Oh my God, I had the money, I had the check. I was like, I did it. I mean, I went from 5,000 square feet down to 2,000 square feet down to finally 100 square feet. So,
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
fantastic.
so I know, right? It was
It's
great.
really great.
But even going through that of just getting rid of everything, and here I
Yeah.
was. I can remember sitting in my apartment, sitting on the floor. I was surrounded by bins with labels of like, okay, this is going into the RV, this is going to go into storage. Like I had all these little bins, and I'm sitting there in the middle of them, and I was like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
okay, I finally regained my health and my strength, and I'm doing well financially. Should I do this? This is dumb. Why would I take off in an RV across the country? This is
Yeah.
stupid. It was like here I was
Yes. All
with
the
an inner critic. Yes,
self-sabotaging thoughts.
yes.
Yes.
And a friend of mine called her and she said, Wendy, she said, if you don't do this, this is going to be your first regret.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, you can always pivot later. You can always change your mind later, but you have to do this. You've worked so hard to do it. Just go for
Yeah.
it. And the one thing, and I think I had this quote in my book, leap and the net will appear.
Hmm.
And the net is you. Trust that you will catch yourself. If you
Yeah.
leap into something, you're totally, you're not even sure how to do it, when to do it, what, it doesn't matter. You'll figure it out. And actually, it's in figuring it out, that's where you gain that strength and that confidence and the courage.
Yeah.
It's like you're not born with courage. You're not born bold. You become that
Mhm.
way by taking these tiny little steps. And yeah, I think especially, it's great that your audience is like my audience, midlifers, right? I think we
Mhm.
forget how powerful and how strong we are. It's
Yeah.
like whether it's raising kids or climbing the corporate ladder or running a household. I mean, with just the
Hmm.
basic stuff we do. I mean, we can put on mascara, drive a car, and talk to like we can do
Yes.
tons of things that like it's crazy
Yes.
what we're capable of. But we have to remind ourselves what we're capable of, and
Hmm.
we have to focus on our drishti. We have to focus
Yeah.
on what we want that fulfills us, that brings
Yeah.
us joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I actually recently wrote a Substack post that
Mm.
the title of the post was "You're a Badass, even if you've forgotten." Because
Yeah.
by the time
Yeah.
we get to midlife, I
Yeah.
guarantee almost all of us has been through some shit, and
Yes.
we have made it
Yep.
through, and we were the safety net that we needed, right? We did figure
Yeah.
it out. I mean, as women, I think we're
Mhm.
just incredibly I'm blanking on the word because this is what happens to me now in my life, but we're
Welcome to menopause.
welcome. Thank you so much for stealing
Okay.
all my words right when I started
Welcome
the
to
podcast.
brain farts. I know.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and we're
Industrious. We're very
creative.
creative. We're very
Yes.
industrious. We're very gritty. We're
Yep.
very resilient. And we
Yeah.
tend to kind of not believe that we have those qualities
Mm.
within us, even though we have, if we really look back over our lives, we have proven to ourselves over and over and over that we do have all of those qualities. It's just
You
maybe
know
taking
what?
a moment to like turn back and look at what have I done?
Huh?
What have I gotten myself through? And I'm still standing. And actually,
Yeah.
I'm kind of a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I am
Yeah.
kind of a badass.
Yeah.
But you know what, too? It made me think that sometimes we don't want to admit it because think about this. There's a quote from Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Yes.
It is our light. Yes, I love this quote.
We
It
are
is our
so in sync. I was going to pull
I
that quote out.
know, I know. But yeah, it is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And
Yes.
I can remember years ago when I was going through this whole breakdown, I was like, do I really agree with that, Marianne Williamson? Am I really scared of my light? Why would I be scared of my light? And I was like, you
Yeah.
know what? She's right. Because
Hmm.
think about this, if you fully stepped into your light, what
Hmm.
would you have to do? You
Yeah.
might have to quit your job. You might have
Hmm.
to leave a toxic relationship. You
Hmm.
might have to move across the country. You might have to make some changes in your life,
Yeah.
whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You might have to do all sorts of things
Yeah.
to step into your light. Because sometimes, just like I was saying before, that those two roads diverge in a wood, one road is very familiar. And I mean, and it feels comfortable. So you can
Hmm.
stay there because you know it. I mean, at a
Yes.
time in my life when I was like, okay, I know depression. I know what that's like. I know how to maneuver through this.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Even though I hated it, I knew it. It
Yes.
was
Yes.
familiar.
Yes.
Anxiety, all the stuff. I mean,
Hmm.
we know that.
Hmm.
So then to actually come out of that darkness and go, you know what? I'm done with this. And I
Hmm.
think for me, and a lot of people might feel the same way, sometimes you have to get so sick and tired of who you are, what you've become, and where you're at, not in a
Hmm.
shameful way, just like, you know what? I'm done with this. This
Yeah.
is, was it Dr. Phil would say, how's that working for you?
Yeah.
It's not working for me, I
Yes.
always did back then I did the like George Costanza. You remember he did Opposite Day? He just did everything like, he's nothing worked out for me. I'm going to do everything opposite.
Yeah.
And sometimes, yeah, it's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
With where you're at right now in your life, if there's some things you're not happy with, flip it. And you have that
Yeah.
power to do that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because when you talk
Yeah.
about those two roads diverging, and I love that quote,
Yeah.
I feel like one road is an ego-based road, and one road is a
Hmm.
soul-based road. And our
Yeah.
ego is trying to protect us, right? It's trying
Yes.
to keep us safe. And so it's like, stay here, don't leave.
Yeah.
You know this. You know how to
Hmm.
navigate it, as you said. You know how to protect
Yep.
yourself. You know how to, you're
Yep.
gonna control things. That's your ego road. And then your soul road is like, release and step into the unknown and
Yeah.
trust that you will be okay. And
Yeah.
it's very, very scary for people to do that, like you said, because they know this
Hmm.
other road. I had another guest on, she calls it the middle suck, meaning like right?
Yeah,
Like a
that's
lot of us live in the
true.
middle
Do
suck. Like you had a
it.
really breakdown moment, right? For those
Yes.
listeners who are like, I'm in the middle suck. Like things are not good. I do
Yeah.
have anxiety. I'm not happy in my job. My relationship sucks, whatever, but I am not completely
Hmm.
broken down, right? It's this middle suck that I think is
Yeah.
really hard to then make the choice to step onto this soul-based
Yeah.
road.
Yeah, and I vote for being more proactive than reactive. It's
Yes.
better to prepare than to repair, right? But yeah,
Oh,
there's
yes.
certain things, yeah, especially in life, right? There's all sorts of changes going on, and there's some things that you create that change,
Mhm.
and there are other things that you're forced to change. For
Yeah.
example, either you get served divorce papers or you're the one that is serving the divorce papers,
Hmm.
or you send in your resignation letter, or you're being pulled into the office to that you're being fired. So
Yeah.
it's one or the other. And why not, like, if you know that there's something better for you, no matter what that is, be proactive. Go
Yeah.
ahead and go for it rather than waiting until the universe, God, whatever, pushes you up against the wall.
Yes.
You're like, fine, I'll do it now,
Yes.
like.
And do you believe that? Do you
Yeah,
believe if we don't make the choice for ourselves that eventually the universe will make it for us?
I think so.
Yeah, I do too.
And I'm not that I wanted to go through all of that during that time of my life, but I think, again, women waking up, Wendy was waking up finally, but
Yeah.
it had to get so loud for me, whether it be the pain in my body, the physical
Hmm.
things that were going on with me, my emotions. I mean, oh my gosh, when I finally stopped to just hear the thoughts, the ticker tape of thoughts going across my mind, I mean, holy moly, I was like, do I really talk like this to myself? Like, this is
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it has to get so loud in your mind and in your body and in your spirit for you to go, okay, fine. I'm going to make a change.
Yeah.
It's better not to
Yeah.
wait for that. you know? I mean, I know now that like I know what to look for. I will never allow myself to get that bad again. So I'm
Hmm.
grateful actually that I was at that such a low point in my life because I know what depression feels like. I know what anxiety feels like. I know what it's like to have relationships crumble around me. I
Hmm.
know what to look for now, and I am more proactive. I am
Yeah.
more like, okay, well, what's coming around the corner here? Let's see what we can do. What can I do? Right?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's best to prepare if you can.
Yeah. And I think that so growing up, my dad used to say all the time, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He had so many quotes while I was growing up that I was like, I really don't understand the words coming out of your mouth as a child. But as an adult, I reflect back, I'm like, oh, now I know exactly what he was talking about. But he used to say all the time, pain is your greatest teacher.
Oh,
And it is so true. Humans tend to learn through pain, right? We go through really painful things. And if we're lucky, or
mm-hmm.
if we are intentional, we wake up from the pain. The pain wakes us up.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, I think eventually, hopefully, and I think midlife is a beautiful season for this, we don't have to experience that much pain before we wake up. We can recognize, oh,
Yes.
I've sort of fallen asleep again.
Yeah.
I haven't gone back into the trance and I see it, and it's really not that
Yeah.
painful yet. So I'm going to do what I need to do to wake up again and pull myself out of that. And the more
Yes.
you do that,
Mhm.
the less scary it feels. Like at first, when you're like, oh, do I take this road or that road? It can feel so paralyzingly scary. But
Yeah.
the more you do it, the easier it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's helpful. This is why you and I do what we do. It's
Mhm.
helpful to share these stories because it's inspiring for others to go, oh, well, shoot. Well, Katie did it. Wendy did it. Okay, I can do it. I can do this. You know, like
Yeah.
they did it. I can do it too. But oh yes, I'm so glad that you said that about the teacher because I remember you mentioned that. I think it's on your about page about your daughter and
Hmm.
what she was going through, and that was your greatest teacher. And I
Hmm.
used to always say with my brother, he had suffered from addiction his whole life. And I always say, like, my brother was my greatest teacher
Yeah.
because that relationship in itself, his addictions, the struggle, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I am so grateful through him. I learned about forgiveness and I learned
Hmm.
about empathy and understanding. And I can
Yeah.
remember the last time, it's like when he went into a coma, and I can remember crossing over that threshold in the hospital and
Hmm.
seeing him lying there. And for the first time ever, like I saw him as a soul with a human body, not a human body with a soul, if that makes sense. He was
Yeah.
just
Yes.
this innocent soul in
Hmm.
this body that was addicted.
Hmm.
And I finally just really understood and forgave him. And
Hmm.
all of those labels that he carried, or that either he carried, or I attached to him, or other people attached to him, or society, et cetera, they just fell off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think one of the greatest things that we could all do is any difficult relationship or any challenges that you go through in life,
Hmm.
really ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How
Yes.
can I make this, how can I become a better person because of this? And
Hmm.
instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening for me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because,
And that's
yeah,
really, I mean, I 1000% agree with you. And yet I remember at the beginning of my own waking up journey, hearing something like that and being like pissed,
yeah, I
like
know.
pissed.
Yeah.
Ah!
Exactly. Like, who are you to tell me?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But
I
if
know
you,
it's not the things I know. It's not the things you want to hear when you're really down in the dumps. Like, oh,
yeah,
please, Wendy, like I really want to
yes.
learn from this.
Yes, but it is the truth. I mean, take it from both of us who have been through really difficult things. Take it from, I look back at, really big spiritual teachers and activists and people who went through like horrible, horrible things, and yet they were able to make such meaning out of it.
I
Uh,
know.
and
It's
it,
fascinating. I mean, I'm sure it's like you meet all these different people, or we read about them, we see them on TV, and it's like, wow, how do they
yeah,
do that? That is,
yeah,
I've always been fascinated, probably why I ended up starting the Midlife Makeover show. I was always
yeah.
fascinated by the ability for human beings to have a complete breakdown, no matter what that is, and then
Yeah.
rise above it. I've always
Yeah.
just been fascinated by that. Like, I
Yeah.
just think that's the coolest thing. And
Hmm.
what triggers for them to do that? Like, what changed all of a sudden go, you know what? I'm done with this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to change my life.
Yeah.
I just think that's the coolest thing.
So I guess I have two questions for you. One is related to
Mhm.
that, which is, did you prior to this
Mhm.
happening, this breakdown, or do you now have some sort of spiritual connection to something bigger than yourself?
Oh, for sure. I always have. It's
Okay.
funny because I was in an interview the other day and they were asking about little Wendy. What was I like as a child? And I always was very observant, always very aware, watching, listening. I always knew there was something there,
Yeah.
but I didn't quite know what.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, what the best way to connect, I feel, with your soul, your and like what you talk about, like with purpose,
Hmm.
it's the basic stuff. It is the meditation, it's the yoga, it's the journaling, it's getting quiet, it's even getting good sleep. Like, just
Hmm. Hmm.
just
Yes.
it's simple basic stuff
Yeah.
to connect you, to feel that comfort and that warmth, and to receive those epiphanies and those ahas, to get that little bit of boost so that you can take that next step forward. So I
Yeah.
think sometimes we're looking for something outside of ourselves, or a magic something.
Hmm.
It's there. Just get quiet
Yeah.
and you'll feel it, you'll receive it. And I still, as busy as I am, I still have to, like, sometimes I have to do that while I'm washing all this hair.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna just take a moment to meditate. Well, you know,
If you're not watching this interview and you're listening, Wendy has gorgeous hair.
thank you. Yeah. Actually, our hair's very similar. We have like the
Yes.
similar curls, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, take some time for yourself,
Yeah.
and especially if you're going through a really difficult time, take extra
Yeah.
time for yourself.
Yeah.
Give yourself permission to rest and relax, and just know that you'll get to the other side of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have like, let's say it's a woman who is in the middle suck and she's like, I know that I should make this other choice, but I'm just
Yeah.
I can't do it, right? I can't kind of get past my own self-limiting thoughts and beliefs and
Yeah.
fears. Like, what would you say to that woman?
Well, number one, give yourself permission and get out of your own way.
Hmm.
And I mean, life truly is very, very short. And like I said earlier, you can't make a wrong move. You can always pivot again.
Hmm.
And I think it's in taking action and trying different things. Because let's just say, for example, I don't know, just something silly like, all right, I'm thinking about taking an art class. We're like, oh, it's kind of stupid. I don't know how to draw. Well, you go and take this art class, and the person next to you is, you're both sitting there trying to paint or whatever. And oh, she's a writer. And she's like, oh yeah, I've been writing for a few years now. I'm more than happy to sit down with you. Oh my God, I've always thought about writing. And then that
Yeah.
leads to something else. And then you end up, who knows? But
Right.
it just, be curious and explore and have fun. I always think of life as a buffet, right?
Yeah.
And you can go up to the line, sample what you want, see what you like, see what you don't like. And this is the time to do it. I
Yeah.
mean, most of us empty nesters, we could be either retiring or almost retiring. I'm just kind of getting cranky, but
Yeah.
it's okay, yeah. But yeah, I mean, go sample more of life.
Yeah.
And I think that you'll even notice too, because you've evolved, that things are going to be different for you. Things that you maybe never thought that you were interested in. You're like, I
Yeah.
actually like taking the art class, or I like
Yeah.
writing, or whatever it may be. And God, just trust your gut. I
Yeah.
feel like if something keeps popping up in your mind and trying to tell you something, you might want to listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
That if it keeps showing up for you, there's something there. Someone's trying to get your
Yeah.
attention. And
Yeah.
Oprah, I watched a lot of Oprah growing up.
I
And
love
she
Oprah.
used to, I love Oprah. She used to say, God will first throw a little pebble and
Yeah.
then a rock. And do you remember this?
Right.
And then a boulder. And you're like, don't get the boulder. And
It's true.
And
I
that's like,
know.
that's what it's like. You get these whispers. And first, the whisper
Yeah.
might not even be anything other than I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling dissatisfied, I'm feeling unfulfilled. Like
Yeah.
I can't even tell you what I want. All I know is that I'm feeling these
Yeah.
feelings. And then if we don't try to
Yeah.
investigate that and uncover what those feelings are trying to tell us, then we get the rock and potentially the boulder. So it
Yeah.
all comes back from that learning from pain
Hmm.
and being proactive, just being open and receptive
Mm.
to what the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, your spirit, your
Yeah.
soul is trying to communicate to you.
Yeah.
And
And if it brings you fulfillment and brightens that spark within you, there's
yeah,
nothing wrong about anything. It's
yeah.
like if it makes you feel good, great.
Right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
releasing stuff too, because I know at my age, there's stuff that I used to love to do that I no longer enjoy doing. And that's a little bit of an
Hmm.
identity shift. You have to,
Yeah.
be able to say, well, that was a past version of me and it's okay to let it go. And it doesn't mean
Yeah.
there's no negative connotation to the fact that I just don't enjoy that anymore. My body doesn't like doing that anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I think the more that you get to know yourself, you'll gain more clarity. And also in gaining clarity, sometimes it's getting rid of the things that are not serving you. It's kind of going the backwards approach.
Yeah.
And like Michelangelo, for example, when they asked him how he carved the statue of David, he
Hmm.
said, "Well, I just carved away at everything that was not him."
Yeah.
So sometimes we all need to like, all right, get out the chisel and start
Yeah.
chipping away at the things that are not you. Because
Yeah.
especially by the time we get into our 40s and 50s, not only are we still carrying around the thoughts and beliefs and the values of maybe our parents and then but then your society and then other relationships and then you're like carrying this gigantic heavy marble around you that may not even really be you. Like maybe I
Yeah.
don't like to do that. I want to do this instead. So sometimes as you
Yeah.
start to chip away at that and you get to that inner angel, if you
Yeah.
will,
Hmm.
then you gain more and more clarity. So
Yeah.
sometimes decluttering your life
Hmm.
actually
Hmm.
helps you to kind of
Yes.
find that diamond there in the rubble.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. We have to remove what isn't working for us
Yeah.
anymore. Maybe never worked for us, but we kind of forced ourselves into
Yeah.
these little boxes for
Hmm.
whatever reasons we may have done that. But I
Yeah,
love
I
that.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And you
know
could,
there's
yeah. And I think too, the most important thing, just like when I talked about, the woman in the driver's seat, becoming that woman, start thinking about the who. I mean, we worry a lot about the what, when, where, why, and how when we're planning goals and doing all of that. Think
yeah.
about the who. I mean, sit
Yeah.
down and just write about uh, who you want to become, who that new you is, not yesterday
Yeah.
you, the new you.
Yeah.
And literally, like as if there was a drone flying over your head, right, and observing you. How would the
Yeah.
new you, think, speak, act, walk into a room, eat, move your body, like everything. And you
Yeah.
design this person, which
Right.
is pretty
Right.
cool. And
Yeah.
then every day you step into the shoes of that new woman until
Yeah.
eventually you become that woman. So if you think about it,
Yeah.
we're creatures of habit.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
then you have that choice to be able to create whatever habit that you want.
Hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
like create the habit, become the person that you want, not
Right.
what friends, family, society, and especially Instagram, because we would never succeed.
Right. Yeah.
To be what I never know what Instagram wants of me. But yeah, be who you want to be, right?
Yeah.
The top regret of the dying, according to Bronnie Ware, is living
Hmm.
life for everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Isn't
I
that
like that.
horrible? I
It's
mean,
terrible. I know. She said that the vast majority of her patients on their deathbed, that was
yeah.
their dying regret. And it's so
Yeah.
sad that, you would get to the end of your life and realize
Yeah.
you never really lived because
Right. You were
you
never really
didn't.
you. You were being all things to everybody else, but not all things to yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's
just
really.
like we are saying earlier, like you're standing in your own way. You're allowing
Mhm.
others to even stand in your way.
Yeah. I like
Which,
the idea of what you're saying about basically living into the identity of the person that you want to be,
yeah.
because sometimes in the beginning phases of this journey, like you had a vision. You were
Mhm.
like, I want to, go across
Yeah.
country in an RV and I want to be an author and an inspirational speaker. And like you just had this vision of this life.
Hmm.
And then you worked your way into it. But if you don't have
Yeah.
a whole vision of a life, you can at least have a vision of, you know what? I want to be someone who doesn't have anxiety. I want
Yes.
to be someone who is loving.
Hmm.
We can start very small. What would a person who feels doesn't have anxiety, who doesn't feel
Right.
the
What
crippling
does she
effects of
do on a
anxiety?
day-to-day
What does she
basis?
do?
Yeah. When she wakes up, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I slept, 7, 8 hours. Oh, I feel good. I'm gonna go do a little
Yeah.
yoga. Like, what does that woman do? Like, you can even
Yes.
name your future self. Mine
Right.
was Wonder Wendy.
Ah,
Of
that's
course
so
it was.
good.
Right. Matter of
Oh,
fact, on my the dashboard of the RV was a little miniature Wonder
oh,
Woman.
that's
And then
so
she sat
good.
there. But you know what I would do? It sounds crazy and I'm okay with that. But I mean, we really all do speak to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
But I would speak to that Wonder Wendy. And if I wasn't sure how to do something, or I'd be like, okay, how does Wonder Wendy act in this situation?
Yeah.
How does she handle it? How does she carry
Right.
herself? What would Wonder Wendy want out of this? How would she tackle it?
Yeah.
And then it's just like an actress preparing for a role. You just literally embody this new you and you become that person.
Yeah.
And easier said than done, of course. I mean, if we could just say that, wouldn't that be awesome? But
Right.
yeah, but actually, in some ways, it's like, yes, as you consistently take these tiny little steps towards this future you,
Mm-hmm.
you will become her.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can tell you that in my business journey when I started this business, and I
Yeah.
was like, I do not know what I'm doing, but I want to do it. So
Still
here we
don't
go.
know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I literally do not have a clue what I'm doing.
But I'm so glad you said that because, again, like permission, right? Permission to be messy.
Yes.
And again, as a recovering perfectionist, I had a hard time with that at first. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather just try it than not do it at all.
Right.
I'm just going to be a little messy. And I would even tell myself that. I'm like, yep, this might be a little messy and I'm okay
Yeah.
with that.
Right.
Like first
Right.
time going live on Instagram or starting the podcast or driving the RV. I didn't know how
Yeah.
to, I didn't, had
Driving an
not a
RV. Yes.
clue. I'm like,
Like,
how do I back this thing in? How do I
yeah.
reverse this thing? What
Right.
hose goes where? I had
Yes.
no idea. But
Yeah.
again, as you take these tiny little steps, you're like, I mean, I can remember the first night in St. Louis, which happened to be where I was born. It was kind of total full circle moment for me. But that was the
Yeah.
first night in the RV by myself. And I remember when I pulled in there, and I may not have been wearing a dress, but I probably looked like this pulling into the
Yeah.
RV park in the
Right.
KOA. And
Yeah.
I remember the lady at the front desk, she's like, darling, are you gonna need help parking that thing? And I was like,
Ah.
serious? I was like, just because I'm wearing Lululemon pants
Yes.
doesn't mean I don't know how to
And a
park this.
full
And I
face
was
of
like,
makeup. I know what
I
I'm
know.
doing.
Yeah, totally. Of course, because I was documenting this whole thing. I had to look good. But I remember I was thinking, she thinks
Yes.
she is. In my mind, I was like, oh shit, I hope I can do this. I can still remember the same site that I went into and I pulled in and I mean, I have a nice RV. It was like a
Yeah.
black RV, black, Mercedes at the blue stripes. It was all sparkly and everything. And people were out there in their chairs watching me.
The
And they're
pressure.
like, let's see this diva park
Yeah.
this.
Get the popcorn, everyone.
And I was like, and I did. I looked at the little Wonder Woman on my dashboard and I was like, girl, we got this shit.
Yeah.
And I backed that sucker in like a boss. I was
Oh,
like,
yes.
and I was like,
Did you do a little wave
oh,
afterwards?
yeah, I was like hooking, and they literally, I mean, I must have just been like the highlight of their entire day. And I was
Yeah.
hooking up the hoses, and then I got my grill together and my chair, and then poured a glass
Yeah.
of wine. And I was like, that's right, I did
Yeah.
that.
So good. So good. I
How
love
did
it.
you do
How long
this?
were you on the road? How long did you travel in this RV?
Well, at least a year
Okay.
solo. And
So,
it was, I loved
so
it. And
cool.
you know what my greatest fear was? My
What?
greatest fear was about being lonely.
Okay.
But I had a really good time not just hanging out with me, myself, and I, but just getting to know me more.
Yeah.
And the silence, the quiet was nice and it was
Yeah.
pleasant. Sitting out and looking at the stars in, Arizona or in California, and it's just like, oh, it
Yeah.
was so yeah, I needed that. I mean, after my divorce, it was like getting a divorce and marrying myself. I needed that time to
Yeah. Totally.
reconnect with me and
Yeah.
so oh, the greatest gift I gave to myself.
Oh, isn't that amazing? I think that we
Oh,
will never regret doing something that's in our heart, even if it
yeah.
doesn't work out well, right?
Yes.
Even if you're
Yep.
like, well, that didn't go the
Yeah.
way I envisioned it to be, I think it will still be more painful to have never have tried, never done it.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's like Steve Jobs would say in his famous speech, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards.
Yeah.
So as you look back in your life, even the crappiest of crappiest dots still led you either
Yes.
to your next great relationship or a friend or a job or something.
Yeah.
And to me, that puts my mind at ease as I move forward, knowing
Hmm.
that, okay, well, if I make the wrong decision, quote unquote, wrong decision, I don't believe in mistakes, only retakes.
Mm.
Like, okay, well, this might lead me to someone or something else or another experience. Who
Yeah.
knows? I mean, it's
Right.
kind of cool if you just go, okay, it's detachment, it's
Yeah.
surrender.
Yes. Trust.
Challenging, but such a great quality to try to go after because you really are just kind of relaxing into the river and just going, okay,
Yeah.
we're
Carry
just
me
letting,
forward.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Well,
no,
thank you so much for being here,
thank
Wendy. This was
you.
amazing, this conversation. I love you. I love your energy. I love it all.
Thank
So
you. Yeah, I know you and I are connected. Like
we are.
there's something there. I didn't
There is
know it.
absolutely something there. Yes.
I know. And I'm so proud of you for taking the leap and
Thank
it's
you.
like rising
Yeah.
above all those challenges and just going
Yeah.
for it. And
Yeah.
I can tell that you're fulfilled and that you love what you do. And
Yeah.
isn't that
That
nice?
is, it is so, it's the greatest gift. It truly is the
Yeah.
absolute greatest gift to love what you do and feel that what you do is what you are meant to be doing. And
Yeah.
it's why I love helping clients to find that for themselves, whether it be
Hmm.
in work or in some other way in their lives, but to be able to enter flow and just feel like what's coming out of you is coming through you and not from you
Yeah.
is it's like the magical parts of life. Yeah.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. It's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
It
Thank you
really
so
is.
much. Yeah, this was
Yeah.
great.
I will put all of your information in the show notes so people can find
Thank
your book and
you.
your podcast and your website and all that in case they want to get in touch with you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Everyone, have a great day. I really appreciate this.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
I hope you had a snort laugh, everyone, if you were listening.
Yeah. Yeah, you can hear our annoying laughs. It's so beautiful.
Yes. Beautiful.
Thank you.
So there were so many beautiful points that were made during the conversation with Wendy. It's hard for me to even pull one particular point out, but I think probably the one that is sticking out for me the most is the idea of this diverging road and that we get to choose, we get to make the decision which path we follow. And that both paths are going to be hard. They're both going to require a lot of energy. But which one is going to feel better? Which one is going to lead you to the life that is possible? And which one is going to keep you stuck in your current circumstances? And just choosing, the ability to make that choice, to choose the path less traveled that will lead you to the fullest version of yourself, and how that does take effort and it does take work, but it is so possible. And it is really a fulfilling journey. So I'd love to hear from you what piece of this episode stood out to you the most. If you're on Spotify, you can just comment directly there. If you're listening on any other platform, then you can get in touch with me through email, message me on Instagram. If you decide to head on over to Substack, you can directly message me there as well. I answer all of those messages and all the emails myself. So you will definitely get an email directly back from me and not someone working for me. And I would love to hear what it was about this episode that really sparked recognition. You know, that moment when either the hair stands up on your arm, or you feel those full body chills, or something moves in your chest. Anything like that that happened during this episode, I would love to hear it. And of course, I would love you to join my newsletter and Substack community. So like I said, if you want to go deeper, if you're tired of all of the noise and you want something that's just quieter and grounded and more peaceful, and something that's going to invite you to be your own teacher, to be your own guide, to find your way back to the deepest part of yourself that has known the answers all along. That is what I do on Substack and through my newsletter. So please sign up if that's you. I would love to have you in my community. All right, my friends, I love you very much. Have a beautiful week, and I will talk to you next time.